In this segment, we'll talk about the Clayton shrouded drum sander. The drum sander is a great tool for doing trim work, corrosion control, or composite fabrication, but it's also a tool that can create a lot of dust in a short amount of time. The Clayton drum sander shroud allows users to work without exposure to potentially hazardous dust. Whether it's used on a right angle or a straight grinder, operating and maintenance instructions are the same. So for the purpose of this video, we'll focus on the right angle tool. This precision tool is machined from aircraft grade aluminum and is based on our universal shroud design. This means that it can be used with any right angle or straight grinder with a 1/4 inch collet. High-speed sealed bearings give the shroud a long lifespan and allow it to be used with many different speed grinders. It includes a flexible hose whip, which terminates in a threaded swivel fitting. This helps to keep the vacuum hose firmly attached. Now let's review the features. The tool is made of aircraft-grade aluminum. It's based on our universal shroud design. It features the high-speed bearings, and it's got the threaded swivel fitting. Now let's go over operating procedures. First, we'll connect the shroud to the grinder. You'll need to loosen the grinder's collet using the supplied wrenches. Now slide the shroud's mandrel into the collet. Tighten the collet to secure the shroud in place. Next, choose the proper grit abrasive for the work you'll be doing. If you're unsure of which grit abrasive to use, check your technical orders or speak with a supervisor. Slip the abrasive over the shroud's rubber drum. Slide a 1/2 inch wrench onto the nut located on the mandrel between the shroud and the drum. Hold the nut in place while turning the abrasive and drum counterclockwise. The drum will expand to hold the abrasive securely. Now add 1 to 2 drops of air tool oil into the air inlet of the grinder. You'll want to oil the tool before use and after every 1 to 2 hours of use. Now connect your vacuum hose and compressed air line. To connect your vacuum hose, thread the hose into the swivel fitting on the shroud using a counterclockwise motion, the same rotation used to loosen a screw. Now connect your air line, and the sander is ready to use. Now let's review operating procedures. First, attach the shroud to the grinder collet. Then mount the abrasive. Add air tool oil. Attach the vacuum hose, and finally attach your compressed air line. When using a drum sander, there are some tips to remember. The shroud can rotate freely around the mandrel, so be sure to turn the shroud to position the vacuum pickup in the path of the dust coming off the abrasive drum. If you're using the drum sander to trim edges, keep the abrasive in motion. This will keep a clean edge on the part and will prevent the tool from creating depressions in the edges. Use a smooth, even pressure, applying steady force and letting the abrasive do the work. Let's review. Always position the shroud for best dust pickup. Keep the tool in motion, and always use steady, even pressure. Now let's review proper maintenance procedures. When the cutting performance of the drum sander declines, you'll need to replace the drum abrasive. First, disconnect the vacuum hose and compressed air line. Hold the nut above the drum using a 1/2 inch wrench and turn the abrasive drum clockwise to loosen. The abrasive should now slide free from the drum easily. Discard the abrasive in a proper waste bin. Place a new abrasive over the drum. Hold the nut in place and turn the drum counterclockwise to secure it in place. While there's no scheduled maintenance required for the drum sander shroud, the grinder should be oiled before use and every 1 to 2 hours during use. On the right angle tools, you also need to lubricate the gear head after every 8 hours of use. To do this, remove the rubber boot covering the gear head to expose the grease fitting. Use the grease applicator supplied with the tool to inject grease into the fitting and then replace the rubber boot. Following these instructions, the Clayton shrouded drum sanders will provide you with years of excellent performance. As with all power tools used in an industrial application, certain parts will eventually wear or be damaged. These grinders may be repaired using approved replacement parts or returned to us for overhaul and repair. Ask your Clayton representative for details.